put the powder in the glass. Pour an alcoholic beverage of your choice. I prefer whiskey. I also like to add a little bit of hot dog water to mine. That's just personal. Just find a nice sedentary position. Relax. And stay there. Couch body.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy. I'm your host, Joel Marshall. This is my sidekick, Boney. He'll be running the tech today. Say hi, Boney. So really excited. We have Chris OConnor on the show today, CO2. Thanks to Howard Ronan, who introduced us, so it's really cool to have him here. Hoy! Anybody who wants to comment should comment. If you have any questions as we go through this show today, please alert us in the comments section. We do say hoy instead of hi, so if you want to say hi, say hoy. We don't know why that is. But that's the rules. This show has a few rules. Thanks to everybody out there who is a Patreon. Please go to patreon.com/Joel Marshall if you want to support the show. This is how we support live independent media. There's Howard Ronan, Mike Knox, Todd Lee, Kamala Lopez, Liz Lopez, Robert Lopez. Thank you all for supporting the show. You can give as much as you want or as little as you want. You can give $0 if you want. Just sign up and be a Patreon. Jay Patterson, Pam Palmieri, Neil Phillip, Seth Word. Some of these people are stars in their own right. Jason Edelman, Daniel Muchler, who is a trivia god, Mary Marks, and of course, Rebecca Henry. Great to see everybody. Pass this show around, subscribe, do whatever you can to support independent media. We're almost to 100,000 subscribers in YouTube, so that's cool. And we found out that unfortunately, holy, is in some Asian languages means smelly clown. Yeah, apparently it does. I don't know. We can't be responsible for our actions here. Surfing bears, surfing foxes. We try to put as many animals up on the surfboard here as possible. That's just what we do. We also breathe. Breathing now. Breathing is an invention that has been around for hundreds of years, and people find that it actually helps life. So we do it. We take the time to do it here. We take the time with Tibetan vibrations. It's behind me. That's Travis Schumacher. Usually has his cat, Perseus, but he's not here today. So in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. One more time. In through the nose, out through the toes. Let it go. Here's a question from the chat room. Did Travis change his name from Healing Vibrations? They actually have 3 channels, actually probably more than 3 channels. They have Healing Vibrations, Tibetan Vibrations, and Chakra Vibrations. Healing Vibrations is their most popular one, but these other ones are close second and third. I want to thank Howard Ronan, Surfing Bears person, for introducing us to Chris OConnor today. Really grateful to Howard. Howard's been just an amazing person throughout the lunch therapy journey. And he's doing a solo show next month. We're going to have to advertise that on the show, but go to his Instagram, Howard Aronin. I don't know what his Instagram is, but you know what it is. You can look for it, Howard Aronin. Wow, can you please start good vibrations? Yeah, maybe they need that. We always need some good vibrations. I got some good vibrations for you here. I've got baby turtles at the Oregon Zoo. We got a new influx of some baby turtles, and I just wanted to share that with y'all because it's good for your endorphins to look at some happy little baby turtles on green gloves. This is one of our favorite places, the Oregon Zoo. They always have cool videos. Here's some red pandas eating snacks outside. For those of you that are wondering what's going on, this is the therapeutic section of the show. And then we get into the inspirational comedy section of the show, which will be happening after the red pandas eat some, I don't know, what are those, apples? They're apples. Kamala says she's sad about our turtle. It lasted a day in our pond. Yeah, so we got a turtle, put it outside in our pond. We had this little pond. And then we found out that raccoons love turtles on the half shell, as they say. So our pool guy was like, we were like, did you see the turtle? Have you seen the turtle? And they were like, oh yeah, I saw the shell. The empty shell. Oh, ouch. That's a bear with a watermelon, which is, I highly recommend that y'all go over to Oregon Zoo sometime when you're just feeling down and you want something uplifting. You can watch a bear eat a watermelon. Uh-oh. Wait a minute, we're not ready for Chris OConnor yet. We gotta introduce him. I don't know what happened there. Sometimes Boney really messes up with the technical stuff. And that's okay, because, people make mistakes. And we can all make mistakes. Unless we're a free solo rock climber, then no mistakes for those guys. That's the the choice that they've made, I guess. It's like betting your life on being perfect. If you're a free solo rock climber, I don't recommend it. But what I do recommend is our next guest. Guest today brought to you by our very own Howard Aronin. He has built a comedy empire out of pure nonsense. And I mean that with the highest complimentary values. Under the name CO2 is funny, he's turned everyday absurdity into a machine. Sharp video musings, a newsletter called Some Stuff Weekly that cracks me up. I was chortling just yesterday as I was reading it. Some great recipes, some great hilarious things. Also, he seems to promote other comedians, which is fantastic. He's out there every week on LA stages performing stand-up and producing shows such as the Human Resource Rebels in Santa Barbara. And somewhere between all of that, he's writing a self-help book called The New Me Manifesto with quotes from Abraham Lincoln, FDR, trashing the book, all of them. He is the man in the arena. This is the guy who can't leave anything alone. And today we find out why. He's known as CO2. Let's just see who's here before I announce. I love Chris, Jenny Sykes. Howard says, me too. Joel was hysterical about your tomato soup. See, it was true. It's true. I was telling him before we got on the air about how I was just belly laughing about his recipes. Jenny loves Howard and Chris, just to be clear. All right, let's watch a little clip. Here we go.
Huh? Now I'm a pseudo-political comic, I guess, because I watch a ton of YouTube, and I feel like I'm really smart all of a sudden. The TikToks have been filling me on what's happening in the world. It's weird. I've been feeling this wave of patriotism to the point where, like, last week, I went down to enroll in the Marines. And right when I got there, I turned on the radio and they're like, hey, we're not fat generals. And I was like, what the fuck? That's what I'm here to do, is fat generals. That was the job I was going for. I saw the post on Indeed the week before. It's like, hey, we need fat generals for the Marines. I'm like, that is me. I can totally do this. And now apparently it's a no. First of all, I don't know when we got so down on fat generals in the Marines. Forever, the poster child of the Marines was Gomer Pyatt. And that's so much better. I go, so we're okay with the redneck being in the Marines. We're not okay with the fat. It's not like the generals are the ones fighting the war. They're not shooting any, but they don't need to do the 100-yard dash at any point. They just pretty much sit there with giant maps and a stick and go put people like there. Put people over there. That's some. That spot, that's where the war will be fought, is where the thumbtack is. That's what I need you to do.
All right. CO2 is here in the room.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. This is great.
Thanks for being on Lunch Therapy. It's so good to see you.
Oh my God, this is so fun. I have already in the first 3 minutes had such a wave of emotions. The music is so eclectic. It went from like belly dancing to like ultra, get you pepped up, self-help talk, down to like this kind of low-key vibe and drums. And now I'm like, I don't know where I'm feeling, but this is
everywhere. We take you everywhere.
It's awesome.
It's like a story. It's like a journey. That's something I noticed in your newsletter, that you do a playlist every time, which is super cool.
I do. It's funny. Like the newsletter, it's been the greatest thing I've ever done. We were talking just a little bit about this. It started, I do a lot of restaurant marketing for like different franchises in the country. And I had a client, and they were having trouble kind of getting traction in the market. They had like 40 or 50 restaurants up near San Francisco. And so I just said, listen, let's do something totally different. So I started making up really terrible football picks. It was just a goof. And we never talked about their food. We never said anything about it. It was just, hey, here's really dumb football picks. And that was it. And the readership went to like over 200,000 within a couple of months of just people who wanted dumb football picks.
Really?
Out of nowhere. And then they fired me. So I was like,
what?
Oh, well. So it was a whole long thing. It was just kind of a mess. But the last one I sent out, I was like, listen, screw those guys. Come follow me. I'll start the newsletter over here. And just tons and tons and tons of people did. So I was like, great. So it just has been a labor of love. The entire point of the newsletter is zero self-promotion of any kind. If anything seems promotional, it does not get in. I have no shows out there. I don't do plug anything.
You never put ads on for your shows in there?
Wow. Never. And I never will. Because listen, there's a banner at the top. If you want to see my stuff, click it. Yeah. If not, great. Yeah. The whole idea is to drive value for people and the things that I think are funny. And so I'm like, well, what can I do? I can give away funny songs. So I'll create a playlist every week that people can listen to. The recipe was just a goof on the fact that all these newsletters and blogs always feel like they need to include like really complex recipes. I'm like, well, what's the dumbest recipe I can think of? Here's one for soup. Just put it in a bowl and heat it up. There you go.
Open the can, so pour it in a pan, heat it up.
There you go. America's Best Chef. So it's just a goof. But I mean, I can't tell you the number of hours I spend trying to drive value through that thing. And it's been extremely rewarding. I reach a lot of people with it, and it's been fun.
I love the conversation. I love your writing. Your writing is so hilarious.
Thank you.
Were you trained as a writer, or how did you develop your writing?
I never wanted to be a comedian. I got into comedy on accident. I was a writer forever. I wanted originally back in the day. I'm from Kansas. And so I was like, I'm going to be a film major, which in Kansas just meant you watched movies. Like they had a Blockbuster subscription is a film degree there. So, but I really loved writing screenplays, and I got really into it. And then I left that and went into writing ads. So I started a kind of an ad and production company and stuff, writing ads for just all kinds of huge brands and stuff. Really enjoyed it. Kept that going through marketing. And then I forget, I'm going to move to California. Finally, I just want to pursue this. And I got out here on the first night I was here. I went to see an old friend, and I met this woman named Mary Kennedy. And Mary Kennedy, I adore. I think she is a truly phenomenal coach and everything. She said, "Hey, I do classes in comedy writing," or yeah, she called it comedy writing. I'm like, great. I thought it was a writer's room. It was not. It was a stand-up comedy thing with some writing attached to it. So then I'm like, well, don't be a baby. Don't quit.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean,
I
you
just
got
tried
in
to
there not
stand up.
knowing that it was stand-up.
I literally thought it was writing for like sitcoms and stuff,
I love it.
and it was not. So, but then I tried the stand-up and I loved it. I thought this is way more fun than, you know, writing for like Cop Rock or something. This is way better. So I stuck with it, and now I help a lot of people with the writing. I have a bunch of comedians that I'm really lucky to work with that we just make jokes all day and have a good time. And yeah, the writing is always first and foremost to me. I'm a terrible performer, but I think a pretty okay writer, honestly.
You are a hilarious performer. I love it.
I mean, I always believe in honesty. I'm like, I don't know that I would tune in to watch me, but I would probably tune in to read me. You know, so like that's kind of where it nets out.
Yeah. Cop Rock. Cop Rock's so good. Yeah.
I loved Cop Rock. Cop Rock was the best, and it didn't last long enough, but it was good.
What is the group called where you do this? Where you write?
I just put out a website. It's just called Stand Up Studio LA. People can go out there and sign up for classes or take private lessons, or if you're just like somebody like Jenny or Howard and stuff. I'm like, listen, I didn't. I'm lucky enough to where I don't really need the money. So like for friends and stuff, I go, let's just do it for fun. Let's just meet up at my little studio space, which is in Studio City, and write. So it's just a good time.
Is that the open mic we were talking about as well? Is that the
Yeah,
same
so
thing?
it's all the same thing. There's a recording studio at Ventura and Vineland. I rent some space there, and then on Wednesdays and Thursday nights we do a mic at 6:30. It's a very, you know, supportive, fun group. I think it's great for writers. Like I highly encourage writers to come to this. It's perfect for working out your stuff, and it's a very supportive group of people who are all good.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff. And it's a ton of fun. And then outside of that, I'll teach classes there. I had this kid from Disney Channel who kept like coming to me all the time because he wanted to try stand up. He was like 7. I'm like, you're way better than I am. So it's a super fun kind of an experience for me.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's cool.
All right. So I want to hear about, you grew up in Kansas, right?
Yeah, I grew up. I originally I was born in Wichita. Went to high school. I was there in Wichita through high school, and then moved to Kansas City. And then I started working at Sprint because that was the only business that's in Kansas City. And they sent me all over the world to live. And so since then, I've lived all kinds of crazy places, but Kansas City's home.
And were you doing after you got out of film school, your Blockbuster film school? That was when you started doing ads.
You know how it started was
Yeah.
funny. I took an acting class because I was going to move with Sprint to California. And I thought, well, the only people I would ever know in California would be actors. So I signed up for an acting class. And then this is a stupid story, but are you a sports guy at all?
Yeah. I mean, football.
You
mainly.
Okay, yeah. So sadly, this is a baseball story, but there's a guy named David Cohn who was a pitcher with the Yankees.
Mhm.
And his sister was my boss at Sprint, and she was one of the meanest human beings I'd ever run across. She actually called the California office of Sprint and said, "Do not hire him. He is the worst." So they rescinded the job offer. So I was like, "Oh my God, this is terrible." But I stuck with the acting class, and the guy had a marketing problem. He's like, "This Kansas City, nobody can act here. Like, there's no work, you know." So I said, "Why don't we write a movie that will keep people coming to your acting class?"
Yeah. Oh.
And so we wrote a movie, and I bought all this equipment to film it and stuff. And that was kind of how it started. And then I took all that equipment and stuff and opened a commercial production company. And Kansas City, oddly, is a very large advertising market. We're number like 39 or something in largest cities, but we're top 10 in advertising. So we had a ton of money there. A lot of brands come in and out of there. So I opened a production company there, did great. Then we moved to Chicago, opened it up there, did great. And then finally I sold it in 2018.
Wow. Well, you do
so that's how I got into it, and now I do it.
Would you have advice for people that are marketing shows and, comedy shows? Because it seems like that's one of the most difficult things in the comedy business is trying to market your shows, especially in a venue like you know, a place like Los Angeles where there's so many comics, so many shows.
Yeah, so I'll start this maybe a little bit backwards. I think there's things that are general marketing principles, and I think there are things that definitely apply for comedians. I do help a lot of comedians with their stuff,
Mhm.
including some like larger national comedians. I help them with their stuff too. So it's
Mm.
kind of grown into an interesting side hustle for me.
Yeah.
The number one thing I would say is, and this is true of everything, I talked about it a little bit with the newsletter, but I mean this sincerely. Too many people start with what's in it for me, and then who can I get interested in that? And that's literally the exact opposite way to approach any marketing problem you ever have. When it comes to marketing, the question is always, what value can I provide? And you obsess over the value that you are giving the end user, right? So in this case, I want somebody to come to my show. What can I do that would make it incredibly cool and fun for that person? Can I create a little experience for them? Can I meet them outside and shake hands? Can I say thank you? Is there something that I can do that makes it worth their while? Second, data. Everything is about data in this world, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. So the same problem we all have as comedians is not different than the ones larger brands have. We're just comedians only market to each other. Right? They're like, well, I put it out on Instagram. I'm like, but all your friends on Instagram are comedians.
Exactly.
So I feel like we pass around the same $20
Totally.
every week to each other, and it's silly. You got to start getting religious about breaking out of that habit and finding the people who are not comedians and making that your market. That's through emailing lists. When you do your shows, have postcards out. Do the newsletter. The newsletter fills me with thousands of people who are not comedians that I can market to all over this country. So if I'm going to Kenosha next Friday. I have a list of 20,000 people in the Kenosha, Milwaukee area that I'm marketing.
Wow.
And they're not comedians. They actually have some money and will spend it on the shows, and they're a good target audience for me. So again, I will say as a rule of thumb, show business, you've heard the axiom before, is a business. Treat it like a business. Act like it's your job. Do the things. Nobody owes you anything. Do the things that you need to do to build your business and go from there.
Do you use internet marketing at all? Like
tons.
Google ads and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, tons. So in Kenosha, I'm running Google and Meta ads. I also AI is my best friend. I spend a lot of time scraping sites to try to find leads. I do a lot of cold email marketing. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Jenny just said she was in Milwaukee. Thanks. Cool. So those are all the kinds of things that, I'm very aggressive with my marketing outreach. And then I try to I have a reasonably robust website that I want people to be going to as the center of my ecosystem. Too many people rely on social media as if your social followers are the thing. Your best post sees about 4% of your followers. Maybe. That's at best. And you don't control the experience. You control nothing about it. So for me, I'd rather have 10,000 people whose contact information I own than 100,000 followers on Instagram whose experience I have nothing to do with.
Wow, that is so interesting. Because also in social media, it seems like you said, you're sort of like in this sandbox of just people that have looked at your stuff recently, and you don't really have any control over that. And most of those people are your friends.
Yeah. So when you have no control over the algorithm or the distribution of your product or anything else, then you really have a problem. I've never seen a business survive when they didn't have control of the distribution of their information. And that's what social media is. Social media, you don't control any of it. You can't reach people.
This is your website here, just so people know.
Yeah.
There's a newsletter. You can sign up, get some stuff weekly for free. And
they're all themed. They all have a goofy theme.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So I love what you do with the graphics too.
Thanks.
So cool. So that is such a great lesson, because I think people are just like, they don't understand how to reach people, and we get like stuck.
Yeah.
And it's
I'll give you a practical example.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So a lot of people will tell me, either they do a website as an afterthought, or they don't keep up on it. They don't really do much with it and everything else. When you are trying to go into another market, the first thing that most consumers still do is do a Google search of some kind.
Yeah.
So Oh, thank you. There's two things that happen on a Google search. One is that they actually get a search result and they'll go out to your site. The other one that we're seeing a lot more now of is they'll get an AI response, right? So both of those things stem from the information you're providing the world, which is all based on your website. So yes, it also brings in like Reddit posts and other things. So if you want to be active on those places, Substack, etc. But really, take your website, keep up on it, fill it with content, make it searchable by both bots for what's called an AEO, which is, AI responses and stuff. That information also come from somewhere. Make it the places that you're giving it, right? You control that experience. So that's the part I think most people miss. They just throw crap out in the world and think, well, the world takes care of itself. It doesn't. It just doesn't happen that way.
I love that. So you do some comedy bits. I'm going to play a comedy bit here where you're talking about history. And it's just kind of fun because I love what you do, because I appreciate comedy where you kind of learn something, even if it's sort of funny, ridiculous stuff about history. But I get so tired of people talking about Tinder and, just very like basic things. But then you get specific. I'm going to play this now.
Anybody know King Charles I and II? Yeah. You do? Okay, so tell me if I'm wrong, because this is what the Wikipedia tells me. It's very minor. So King Charles I was, I always want to say president, but he was the king for almost like 50 years. He had a good run, right? It was like 1600, almost 1650, right up until they cut his head off. Yes. So he was one of those very British rulers, got the axe, literally. And it was really weird. This part I thought was odd, and they had never done this before. Everybody was kind of freaked out there. So they took little handkerchiefs and ran up and started dipping it in the king's blood, and they saved it like it's a Who ticket from '79 and put it on their wall. Like these are the first groupies. This was like the first thing that did it. It's odd. And then they wait 10 years. Oliver Cromwell comes in. He does his weird stuff. And so finally he dies. They're like, hey, who can we get? King Charles Dose. Let's go for him. So he comes along, and the first thing he does is he digs up Cromwell, and he executes him again. Which I don't know how that's possible. And he cuts off his head, and he dumps his body in like a pit, and everybody has to walk by it on their way to work every day. But he takes his head, and he puts it on a pole outside of Westminster Abbey, and he leaves it there for 25 years. Wow. Which I think's far too long to leave a head on a pole and still be fashionable. But he did. Finally, somebody was like, hey, that head is still up on that pole. And they take it down, and they sell it to a pawn shop. And for the next 200 years, people come into this pawn shop and they pay tickets to see Oliver Cromwell's head, right? Which I think is interesting. And all this, I say, just for this reason. Boy, if I'm Meghan Markle, I'm taking fucking notes. Because these people are crazy.
You have a persona on stage that is a little different from yourself. Do you think that that's true?
Yes. I feel like I have it in life. Some of it might be stage or not stage, but some of it is when I get excited, when I'm talking about business stuff, when I'm talking about the marketing things we were just talking about, I pretty much lock in and I'm pretty serious. Yeah. And then when I'm not, I'm like ridiculously casual and easygoing. I was like, I don't really care what happens. So I have this odds like kind of dichotomy that happens in my thing. My comedy, like I was very much a Norm Macdonald guy. My entire life was spent watching Norm. I love him. He'll always be the greatest to me. Yeah. And I felt like we kind of just had that. I have a similar type of vibe, not a copied one, but I'm like, I feel like I fall into this kind of a group. Like a dude who's just like, this is kind of what I know in the world and take it or leave it. No, I kind of like it.
And we were talking earlier about finding your people that enjoy your comedy. Do you think the newsletter is the way to go? Like as far as that's how you find your comedy, or are there certain clubs that you enjoy, or is it producing your own work, or how do you find your own group?
That's a really good question. The newsletter is the number one. The newsletter keeps me top of mind. Even if I lock in with 5 people from a show, those 5 people turn into 10 people because they're locked in my ecosystem and they'll pass me along. So that's the number one. Also, they're dealing with so much of my content that if they don't like it, they fall out. And that's perfectly fine with me. I have no problem with people falling out of my ecosystem.
Yeah.
But when they do like me, they become advocates for me and kind of spread that word. The comedy shows, I try to be very specific with the shows that I produce. They're all themed. So like the Human Resource Rebels that I do in Santa Barbara, which actually we have that show tonight. It's a really fun one. I thought,
tonight?
What? Yeah, we do it every month, and so the one of us tonight. The theme of it was just, what if you took your favorite TV stars from the 70s and 80s and put them in an office? You know, like what would happen, right? So that's the kind of thing. It's celebrating mediocrity and stuff. I think that's a world I live in pretty well, you know, and so it just became really fun. So I try to make the graphics and everything extreme enough that people will know what they're getting before they get there. And that helps keep people out who would not enjoy the experience, right? Like you do enough pre-work that you're getting the people who are good fits for you.
So does the show have a theme?
Not during the show, but the marketing has a theme, right? So I always try to keep it thematic and go, listen, I mean, it's people of a certain age who got to the point where like, I feel good enough. Yeah, I don't need the trying is for the kids. Let's just enjoy where we are. That's kind of the theme of the night. And I try to keep it on that. But yeah, there you go. So that was my first one I ever did. I was like, you know, what if Evel Knievel had a day job, right? So that was kind of the thought. And I think it's a goofy thought. I like it, and it's been working out great. But the thing is, if you see that poster, you kind of get the gist of what you're walking into, right? Yeah. Like you at least have a sense of what the theme and the night's going to be like. It's going to be that kind of stuff.
And when you make references to people like Evel Knievel, are you concerned about the fact that people might not know who that is?
If you don't know who Evel Knievel is, then you're not part of my audience. Like I would be a bad fit as a comedian for you. My goal is, again, I think there's so many ways to approach a career, right?
Yeah. I
can either take my career and go, let's appeal to the masses, in which case most of them will appreciate you as a B-, you know, and they're like, it's fine. Or I can really try to hone in on people who know Evel Knievel, think what I said was really funny, and they'll think I'm an A because nobody else is talking about Evel Knievel. Those are the people I want. I want that group of people who really enjoy what I do. I don't care about the other people who are like, yeah, I don't get it. Like, you're not meant to. So it's all fun. You know?
Oh my God, that's great. And how do you write jokes usually? How do you develop your material? Like, what's your process?
2 things. One, constantly writing. I mean, I never stop writing. And so for me, it's really easy. I love to write. And so a lot of people I know think it's a chore, like I gotta sit down and write jokes. I'm always writing jokes. I love it. And I carve out time every day to make sure I'm doing it. I'll do it in my car. I'll turn my voice memo on every time I'm driving and just rant on stuff for however long it takes to get where I'm going. And then I transcribe everything. So I have records of all of it. And I go, oh, I could just do a quick search. What did I say about, you know, Jonestown? And then it'll come up and I'm like, oh, that was pretty funny for a tragedy. You know, and stuff like that. So you have all that content that you never lose.
How do you do it as a database that's searchable? Just real quick. Like how
you could do it in anything you want. You could do it in Notion. You could do it in Apple Notes. You could do it. I use OneNote, which I never use any other Microsoft product but OneNote.
OneNote's pretty good.
I found it was pretty good for that because it syncs, you know, and stuff. So, you know, anybody who wants to know, feel free to hit me up. I'll kind of walk you through a pretty simple solution on how to do it for free. It's easy. But yeah, I take all that very seriously. Like I take the business side of this extremely seriously. You know, so I always hear people go, you have to be in this for 10 years before you deserve anything. I'm like, I'll be dead then. I don't have that option.
That's the worst too, when they give you these rules. Like, you know what I mean? You just hear these rules that people have, and they're just so random, but they say it with such authority that people freaking believe it. And also,
I agree.
why do you think did you get to stand up late in life?
Yeah. I was 48, I think, when I moved out here and did my first one. So 52
Why do you
now.
think you did? Why do you think you never got there? Was it just because you just didn't see yourself doing it?
No, I had a thriving business and I was locked into the business. I mean, I had, 30 something employees and we were making a ton of money and life was good. And all that was fine. And then, you could see the writing on the wall with that business. Like advertising has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I tell everybody when we first started, it was $500,000 for an Avid suite and a Pro Tools suite, right?
Yeah.
5 years into that business, that same stuff was $10,000. So you can't charge $300 an hour when you don't have the same infrastructure basis. So advertising agencies just started building internal post-production companies, basically. So Walmart their ad agency was out of Kansas City. And when we first started, we would sit there all day and do 1,000 Walmart tags for all their stores. I was like, this is at your Bentonville store, now at your Wichita store. And that paid huge money. I mean, that paid all the bills, right? It used to be what I would call the light bill money. The change in the business was the light bill money went away. So we were still getting good jobs, but every job had to be a home run. So we were lucky enough. We got some Super Bowl spots. We had huge brands. Anheuser-Busch, Bombay Sapphire, like everybody and their dog was a client, but each project had to be huge or we couldn't do it anymore, right? So when you get to that point, you're going to fail. Yeah. So we sold the business and then I got sick for a little bit and then my dad ended up dying. And right after he passed, it was just, I tell the story and nobody believes me, but it's true. I gave away, I still have a house in Kansas City. I gave away everything. I gave away all of my possessions. I got rid of all of them. I just said, I made a decision on a Monday. I spent the week giving away all of my things. My sister moved into my house and then I moved. I put as many clothes as I could put into a trash bag and drove out here with my little brother. And that was it. I just wanted a completely fresh, new start to do something completely different. And I felt like if I don't do it now, and if I don't do it in an extreme way, it won't work. And so I started again with nothing. And it was the best thing that I ever did. People always go, it's too late, I'm too old, it's too this and that. Never the case. You can reinvent yourself anytime you want. By the way, I work with a comedian, Susan Ware, who's truly one of my best friends. And I think she's one of the best comedians in the world, 81 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, she's one of the funniest people. We're writing books. I don't know if you saw in the newsletter, we do this thing.
I noticed that.
Yeah, so every week we make up these goofy.
They're hilarious.
She's the queen of one-liners. They're so funny, and she doesn't. I turn them into like a 1920s sound reel. So the goal was, I said, why don't we theme this up?
Yeah.
So we said, okay. So we came up with this concept that's like, what if you were a big silent movie star, but now talkies are coming in?
I actually, when I first saw it, because I'm aware of Susan Ware, I've done some shows with her, and I know how great she is, and she always comes in so deadpan, and she's just hilarious. And I see in your newsletter, you're like talking about her like she's some old star, and I actually was like, is she? But she would have to be 1,000,000 years old. So I looked it up. I actually looked her up, and then I was like, okay, now I get what's. But it took me a little while to get the angle of it. You know what I mean? Like really understand.
So that's perfect because that is the marketing angle. So we're actually coming up with a book. Yeah. So there you go. So that's the whole concept is that Susan had a date with Fatty Arbuckle. What a terrible thing to have happen. So we just make up all these dumb photos. Yeah. And then a story around them. And so we're actually working on a book. We're just going to plant it like it was real. Yeah. So we came up with SOB pictures. And I'm taking all these pictures of old Hollywood studios and stuff. Yeah. And we're making a coffee table book like this place was real. And Susan was a star back in 1928, and stuff. And it's just goofy. And all the stories are just so dumb, So, but they're fun. I mean,
you're really suited towards the, both you and Susan are very suited towards the look. You know what I mean? Like you got that little mustache and you just all of a sudden look like you're from that era. It's great.
It's funny.
It's
That
really
that should have
funny.
been my look. I keep learning. So my mom was like, "You look really handsome there." I'm like, "This was your era, mom." So you're just having a flashback.
Really
So
cracks me up.
yeah,
But
it's fun.
and then there's a recipe there for anybody, that needs a recipe. Take
Yeah,
bread, put
recipe of the week.
put a cheese single in there, put butter in the pan, cook it. This is my grandma's old family recipe passed down for generations. Enjoy.
It's pretty deadpan. I mean, that's kind of the stuff I do, right?
I
So,
love that. I love that. It's so funny. But and some people are just not going to get it. You know what
and
I
that's
mean?
the goal. I mean, that's the hope. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of comedy coaches who are like, "You should probably explain that. Put in another line or two." I'm like, "That's
Yeah.
that's the worst."
What
You
about,
share Coca-Cola. That's brutal. That's funny.
oh my God. Howard, I'm so happy you do my CO2 is scarily brilliant, scary brilliant,
Oh, that's
talented. It's
insanely
gonna be the
nice.
start of a beautiful
Howard
friendship.
is another very dear friend. I mean,
He's so
Jenny, who's
great.
on here, is another very dear friend. So, I mean, I've
Yeah.
been really lucky with the people I've met. And
Yeah.
uh, Jenny and I bonded over a true love of both soap operas and true crime. I grew up near the BTK.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I like
Oh my
literally
God.
was my neighbor, and stuff. And then Howard and I have worked on so many projects together and just have so much fun together. He's like a truly one of my best friends. So
So
I'm
great.
very lucky.
So can you tell me a little bit about your self-help book? Are you really making a self-help book?
Yeah. So when I had my production company, it was me and I had this phenomenal, truly brilliant sales woman. Her name was Ann Moeller, is her name now, was Ann Stranghoner back in the day. And we would spend hours in the car together. So in between like Howard Stern segments, we would started like goofing on. She got into self help for a while and would make me listen to these audiobooks. I'm like, this is a little goofy. And so we started writing a fake self-help,
Yeah.
of all the things. It was like how to win friends and influence people at the expense of everyone else or something like that. So
Yeah.
it was just goofy and it turned into something really, really, really fun. So the concept was let's write a lesson of something that you can fail at every day for 365 days. So when you started the whole thing with the man in the arena, that was
Yeah.
one of the funny, like a TR
Oh
quote. I love
God,
Teddy
I love
Roosevelt.
that. I love in one
But
of your newsletters you like talk about the man in the arena, Roosevelt.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, I love stuff like that. So I have a quote on my website. It's like FDR, and we have nothing to fear but fear itself. I'm like, well, except polio and Nazis, those are scary too, but also fear, but really Nazis. So I'm like, I mean, it's just goofy stuff,
Yeah.
kind of along those lines, and then
Yeah.
a little blurb about what not to do that day. So it's been again, all these things are just labors of love for me, and I love all of
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
So they're
And
fun.
it cracks you up, so it's going to crack some other people up too. That's the thing, I
They
guess.
always said if you'll do it for free, then do it.
Yeah.
And then something will pop. I'm like, great. So right now I do a lot of stuff for free, but eventually I don't care. Eventually
Yeah.
something will pop, and if it didn't, I loved
Doing
doing
it.
every second of it.
Yeah, because you're doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So it's always a win.
And what do you think about artificial intelligence? Because you're using it a lot, right?
Religiously, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in it all day, every day. I have a very firm line, right? So
Mhm.
for me, and I think this is true of every instance where I've seen artificial intelligence used. So I use a lot for business stuff. Um, in comedy, it's a very personal thing. So you can't outsource. To me, you can't outsource
Yeah.
something like that to AI. Like
No.
every word in that newsletter I write, it's painstaking. It has my sensibility in it. It says exactly what I wanted to say. I would never offload that. The pictures are goofy because I have to use AI for some of these, right? Because I'm not
Yeah.
that gifted of a
Right.
designer. But what it does is it democratizes the skill set
Mhm.
for me. So I feel like if you're buying the picture, you're buying the wrong thing. If you're buying the thought behind the picture and why it's funny and goofy, and
Mhm.
then you follow the theme of the newsletter all the way through,
Yeah.
great. Then you get the joke,
Yeah.
right? But it's not, to me, AI slop it's without thought. To me, these
Mhm.
have a ton of thought in
Definitely.
these. So that's what I use it as a tool and not a substitute. I think too many people are using it as a substitute.
Mhm.
Like honestly, people don't want to work, and so like I'll just
Yeah.
offload it to AI and we'll put it out there. It's not what I do. I
Yeah.
use it as a tool to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah. And it really works. And the thing is with the newsletter, these images are not just random to grab your attention. They speak to what the newsletter is about, like your marriage.
Yeah, thank you.
Like your recent marriage to Taylor Swift.
Yes, I was blessed. That was nice. So we're very happy together.
It's a beautiful thing.
I always wanted to get married in an arena of some sort. So this is a dream come true.
In the arena. Are you going to do a special? Because you were talking about a special.
Yeah, so it was funny. I had plans to do one in September. I think it's going to be pushed a little bit, but I have an investment in a distillery in Kansas City, and it's a very cool place.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this enormous outdoor patio where they put on shows and stuff. I definitely want to do that, and that's probably going to be where I try to get it shot at and done. But I had some things pop up recently. I started working with a kind of a large Craig Shoemaker, for anybody who knows Craig.
Yeah,
I do a lot of marketing with Craig. He's a super nice dude. He's been very kind to me. I help him with his marketing in exchange. He helps me get shows. And so, and again, this is where I think comedians go wrong a lot of the times. People are like, well, how can I get my career going? I'm like, well, what do you have of value that you can offer other people? Again, start with value. What do I have that I can provide value with? And he needed some help with his marketing. Luckily, that's something I'm reasonably good at. So we had, kind of a meeting. And we said, listen, if you help me get on shows, I'll help you do your marketing. And this is how the world works, right? So we came up with a good deal for both of us. And he's been booking me quite a bit on different shows across the country. So I'm very grateful to him. But I also think every day when we had a call an hour before this, I was like, what can I do that provides you value in your business? And that's where I start every day. So the special, to answer your question the long way, the special is going to be put off because he's been booking me on so many shows that my comedy has changed a little bit. And also just my timeline has changed a little bit. I can kind of see what I can actually do now instead of just throwing something out there pretty fast.
When he books you on a show, do you feature for him, or what do you usually do?
Yeah. He keeps it. He likes to do 90. So he does
90
gives
minutes?
people their money worth. Yeah. He gives people their mony. Wow. So he tries to keep the shows shorter. He doesn't like to load it up with 2, 3, 4 people at the top. He's like, no, let's just do you and me. We'll hit it down and do it.
And what do you do?
So
20?
It's been fun.
Do you 20 minutes?
Yeah, 15 to 20.
Do you think that's the best way to develop your hour? Or do you think it's important to do an hour anymore? I mean, unless you're on Netflix or something.
Yeah, so this is where another place where I think people might want to reconsider what their approach is. The special was never about having a special to me. The special is a commercial for what I can do, right? So I never thought the world would be so taken by whatever special I could do right now in my life that they'd be like, let's give him $1 million. That wasn't the thought.
Yeah.
The thought was to constantly be building a foundation of doing things the right way. So out of that special, I can absolutely send it to people. I can throw it online. I think bookers like to know that you have legit work that they can see on Apple TV or Amazon or whatever else might be the case. But that's also an enormous source of content. And how I leverage that content in different channels, is completely up to me. But that's your goal. That's what you're offering the world is your content. You should be producing as much of it as humanly possible. Yeah. I took the special as just another thing in that aura, right? I want to get as much stuff out into the world as I can, find the channels where it's sticking, and then maximize those channels. I never was deluded to think that somebody was going to see me do 1 hour at this stage of my career and go, brilliant. It's not going to be the case. But what they might go is, it's kind of funny. Let me kind of keep an eye on him. Let me follow his newsletter. Let me stay in his world. And as I get better, they grow with me.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the goal. So you're not precious with your content, with your writing.
I mean, I think this is one of the advantages of liking to write is listen, if I'm at the point where I think I've written such a great joke that I should just give up and live on the proceeds. Like I'm not like Paul McCartney. I didn't turn out yesterday or something and I can live on the residuals. I don't care. I give away more jokes to other people than I ever write for myself.
Really?
I almost never do the same set twice. I'm constantly writing new things, you know, so jokes are just, no, to me, it's the experience. You know, if you like me and you like my vibe, I'm constantly coming up with new stuff. Enjoy it. Throw it out in the world. I put it everywhere. I mean, the newsletter is literally a couple hours worth of me just generating content every week to try to put new jokes out there.
That's the other thing. It's it helps you. I mean, inadvertently,
Everything does.
Everything helps you because you're just continually developing. There is a danger though, right? To, if you're always like coming up with material and stuff, that you never go back and kind of organize it to get it into something that is, you know, can do 20 minutes or do an hour or whatever. How do you actually write an hour when you come down to like, I'm going to do a special? What do you do?
Yeah, so I did an hour in February with Mary Kennedy and her group. I know Howard's doing it now, and he and I have talked about it a lot. Luckily for me, I had so much material to pull from. I just pulled my favorite stuff. But even then, even that experience was on the way over to the thing. I thought of 10 other funny things I wanted to say, so I just did them.
You did?
I mean, that's how I do it. Yeah, that's how I do everything. I didn't come out to California to write a funny set. I came out here to learn to be funny.
Yeah.
And the difference is enormous. And I think you can approach this business from one of two ways.
Such an important thing you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can master being funny, you have an infinite number of sets. If you write a funny set, you have one.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to learn to be funny. And so I practice it. I always put my money where my mouth is. I practice the same things I tell other people to do.
Yeah.
I practice transitions. I come up with all kinds of just interesting concepts, and you'll never ever see me do the same thing twice. Even if I do a similar theme, or even kind of the bit of the joke a little bit, the entire set is radically different. I mean, every one is different. I just say whatever's kind of coming to me then.
When you go on stage, do you have like a set that you're going to do, and then you maybe deviate?
So last night I did a show at Astronaut City in Arcadia, super fun place. A guy named Brian Stoops put me on a show, super great comedian. And I got out there and I had things that I wanted to say, right? So I knew I wanted to do a whole riff on Astronaut City. And I was like, I thought I was there. I was in Cape Canaveral. This place sucks. There's no zero gravity. You know, this has all been a lie. Then I went into all these conspiracy theories. But at some point, I said something. It's funny that you brought up the Evel Knievel picture. I said something dumb about Evel Knievel somewhere in the line. I forget what it was. And then somebody goes, jumping the shark. And then I just stopped the set and did another 5 minutes on jumping the shark and how all the
Wait, who said the person in the audience said jumping the shark?
Yeah.
Why did they say that?
It was tied into
because Evel Knievel jumped a shark too.
It was reversed. I said I was going to Milwaukee and I was excited because they had the Fonz there. And she said, jumping the shark. And I said, wait a second. Evel Knievel also jumped the shark. Yes. That's how it went. And then it just went on this spiral of nonsense. Right? I was like, in Topeka, Kansas is the Evel Knievel Museum. And I spent like, who would love to have a museum dedicated to all of your failures? That everything in the museum is you crashing into a wall.
He was a clown. He was the ultimate clown. You know
my
what
favorite
I mean?
Clown when I was a kid. I mean, I wanted to wind up bike and do a pop wheelie.
Did you have the?
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, it was great.
We used to jump it off the roof.
Yeah, so much fun. I mean, guys of a certain age all loved that toy, right? So
it's the best toy. Yeah, we had even had the funny car. The funny car too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's almost like his drag race thing. Yeah, it's cool. He was a dude. I loved Evo.
Wow. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate you being on the show. We're getting to the end of the show, but I
can't thank you enough.
So many things to consider that you said today for myself, and I'm sure for other people who are listening to it. The other thing that's great about your newsletter is that you say you can reply to me. And do you actually reply to these people when they reply to your newsletter?
Everybody. Really? Yeah, I mean, tons of people. I have so many friends that I've made through doing this newsletter. If you saw last week's newsletter, the one with the football, me as a kid playing football.
Yeah.
It was all about a buddy of mine in San Francisco, great dude named Mike. I met Mike from the newsletter when I was doing it for the restaurant. And his dad, who he called Pops, passed away earlier in the week.
Yeah.
And so I always try to find real personal tie-ins for people that support me and stuff. And so he doesn't know this yet, but coming up, like I'll start my football picks here again in the middle of September. So we'll do like Pops' pick of the week, which will be a terrible San Diego Chargers pick of some sort, and stuff. And like, I really try, like, if you're a fan of mine, then I will reach back in every way that I can.
Yeah.
I try to make it very personal for people and throw them in. I'll throw in my family every now and then, and people who support me, I'll always put them in.
I love it when you go through the mascots too. I'm a big fan of mascots. Oh my God.
I love that picture. That's one of my favorite pictures. I'm like, that's just goofy. If I played football in like 1959, I feel like that would be me.
And then you also do movies
when you didn't have to be in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything's thematic, right? So everything in this one is about San Diego because his pops was a big San Diego Chargers fan. So even this, I kind of reverted it around to making a movie in San Diego with Pancho Villa. Like, that'll be fun. So I don't know. It's just goofy.
There's the famous recipe too. Open a can, pour in a bowl, heat and microwave for 2 minutes. And then you have like a disclaimer about the cheese that's not there. I mean, the cheese sandwich that's there. I don't know. I just made you disappear. Let me get you on again. Okay, there you are. All right. Well, we got to end the show. But at the end of the show, which I didn't tell you, we have a dance break where we play a song, a cover song, and we just kind of dance around. And that just ends it on a good note. Today I've got some Santana.
Wow.
So yeah. So thanks so much for being on the show, and thanks for all your pearls of wisdom. Everybody should go over to co2isfunny.com and subscribe to the newsletter, of course, because there's a lot.
Very grateful.
A lot that you can get out of it. Yeah. So really great.
Truly grateful to be on here. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. See you soon.
See ya.
It says great interview. Get Susan Ware on the show. Damn it! I know. We need her on the show.
That's true.
I would love that.
That's a good point.
Oh yay, como va? Play a little bit of this, and then we'll fade out. Thanks everybody for being here today. Please pass this around so we can all stop advertising to each other. Get out there. Do some things. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday for Tuesday's show, Lunch Therapy.